This is my favorite song that you guys have ever done. Man. Any band from anybody I know. Can I get one of the charts, of course? Yes. From any band of anybody I know, of people that I know personally, this is my favorite track. And it's not close.
Yeah,
it's not close.
It's real.
This is a hit.
It is a hit.
This is a hit.
Thank you.
This is like, it's like Thrift Shop for Macklemore.
Yeah.
He recorded that song like 6, 7, 8 years before it was a hit.
Yeah, man.
He just decided to throw it on that one. Man, that's the single. I'm telling you.
Man.
This song, one day it could have that future.
People who know how this is, well, when you get the chance, check this shit out. It's Gifted Program. You can find it on Apple Music, Spotify, anywhere, YouTube.
Anywhere.
But if you listen to it and you really,
it's a hit.
Yeah, it's sonically pure, and not just because I'm on it. It's just one of those songs, man.
I have 2 albums in my car, or 2, for very separate reasons too. I have my old school cuts, playlist mix, CD, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
It's got all my old school OJs, Barkays, Function, all my old school soul and R&B. I got that.
Yeah.
Then I got Vegetation by the Gifted Program. It's the only 2 CDs that I have in my car, that I've ever had in my car, like in the last 5 years.
Last time I got in, you had the fucking Gifted Program playing.
You,
and I appreciate it, the shit.
I played that album for many people, like people that don't know any of you guys.
Yeah.
And I've never gotten a bad reaction. Ever, because it's dope.
It's timeless music. Like, I wish the Gifted Program could still exist the way it used to. But
it's different time.
It's almost in a fucking time capsule. Like, man, if you were there for that time,
it elicits a certain feeling. From me.
This album it encapsulates that entire time period, and that's what it is. That's what it was. And it's also featuring Lex Lingo. It was sketch back then, but it's Lex Lingo for those who actually listen to the song. He sings the hook on that.
We'll put links in the description.
Links in the description. We're going to have a bunch of links.
I don't even know what that means, but I know they be saying that on all the YouTube videos I watch.
We're trying to get real professional
find out what the
with
fuck
it.
the link in the
I might even put the word scrolling down right here.
Right. Yeah. And you tell me what you think the song's about.
That'll be your homework. That'll definitely be your homework.
Oh, shit. Nah, it's a good album. It's a good album. To me, it's a timeless album for me.
That's what I
personally
feel like.
It just
feels good.
Yeah, it brings you back to a certain time in your life. Just the way it goes, you know. Just the way it goes. Just like bumping 808s and Heartbreak will always remind me of bumping 808s and Heartbreak in my 94 Explorer with John Lennon.
Yeah. Just always, music just takes you to where you want to go, man.
Right. I like this one too. I love that hat.
The rain ears, man.
That rain ears hat. I love it. Oh.
But this camera, I shot it with that. Like, shot this with that. And it's pretty crisp.
So, like this, can we... Like, we could take that and do, like, man on the street style interviews, all that shit.
Yeah, no problem.
I think we should go opening day.
Go down there.
Go opening day down in Safeco.
Yeah, and just
rep us,
talk.
Rep my cast, everything. Because I'm telling you, you get a camera and a microphone. The microphone don't even have to be on. Get me a wireless.
Oh no, yeah, we can rig it up. I'll just take this shit off.
Yeah, exactly.
You know
it don't even have to be hooked up or nothing.
I'll just have a mic on something. I'll hook one up to that.
And people will gravitate to flock.
No problem.
And then I'm gonna work on getting some stickers made.
Yeah,
we get the way it was stickers, some my cat stickers, all that stuff.
We need that. We need buttons. Anything like corny, whatever. We just gotta put it and leave it places.
I want to make a record, like an actual wax record of one of our episodes.
That'd be clowning. The first, like one of the best of the first 10. Let's get that shit.
That'd be hilarious. When we get to 100 episodes, that's what we're going to do. We're going to do greatest hits. It's going to be on a fucking 45.
And we're going to put that shit up for sale.
That's right.
On Facebook Market.
That's right. That's right. Oh, shit. That's funny.
Oh, man. So, shit. I guess the pressing issue that just happened, just unfolded, was the school shooting that just went down. I want to not have any misinformation,
right.
But we're going to be talking about this. I don't even want to preface it by that. What do you feel about fucking gun control? Like, what do you think we should be talking about? I personally feel like
yeah, it's tough. It's tough because, like, for me, like, nothing makes me feel like more of a man than firing off a weapon, whether it be chucking a fucking spear, shooting a gun, slingshot,
throwing a rock,
doesn't matter. It makes you feel like a man. I mean, it makes you feel. No, really, it does. It makes you feel powerful. It makes you feel in control.
It does make, yeah.
And the problem is that I can handle that just fine, no problem. Doesn't make me want to go do other things.
Yeah.
There is a lot. And I don't even say a lot. There is a percentage of people that cannot handle that responsibility. So really, the only question for me is, to me, it's not should we be able to have guns, because my personal view. I should be able to have any gun I want. Like, yeah. I'm a responsible gun owner. I have gun safes. I have gun locks. I properly store them. I hide them when children are in the home. Everything. Like, I tell children's parents before they bring them, hey, I have guns in my house. Like, they're locked up, but just so you know, I have guns in my house. Like, I'm very responsible. Like, I'm probably weirdly responsible about my firearms. Mm-hmm. But that's me. I'm responsible. I know that.
Yeah.
I should have to do more than go to Cabela's and say, hey, I'm responsible. Let me fill out this form that may or may not even get reviewed by the FBI, and you sell me any gun I want.
Yeah, and that's, I guess,
it's not about the ability. It's about the
checks and balances.
Checks and balances. It's the same thing with having a vehicle. It's the same thing with anything like that. A vehicle can be just as deadly as a firearm, right?
Yep. And people drive them every day. More recklessly than they handle a license.
You have to have insurance. You have to be a registered driver. Your vehicle has to be registered.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why isn't it the same way
with a gun? It's
And I understand part of that probably is an infringement on our Second Amendment rights. Mm-hmm. To actually have to disclose, I have X guns, I have this, I have that.
And that's...
But it's the fucking sacrifice we have to make to keep this country going a little bit.
Exactly. And I'm with you 100% on all of that.
Black folk used to be worth 3/5 of a man. We fixed that.
That's what I'm saying.
Women used to get to vote. We fixed that.
Yeah. So we got to work towards fixing it.
So now it's perfect. Now it's just perfect and nothing else ever has to be changed. The Constitution is a living document. It's the first thing that my history teacher, Miss No, I love you. It's the first thing my history teacher ever taught us in high school. The Constitution is a living document. It was never meant to be signed, sealed, delivered, we lock it in a safe, and that's just the way it is. No. It was never meant to be that way.
No.
Never meant to be that way. No. So when you say every word as written, it's false. That is not what the founding fathers had.
It's a contradiction to the entire ideal of what a constitution represents. A constitution is a living document, just as you said. It's something that should be modified, changes, and evolves over time.
Yeah, I mean,
look, I agree completely with you. I can't even. Now we can look at the side of the fence where people. They say that, well, why do you need a gun? Why do people need guns? Because society's at a place to where we should. And this is the one thing I want to say. I'm adding on to your conversation. Your point is like, well, you have to consider more than yourself. Every issue that we have in this country, you need to consider everyone's perspective on that issue. As a African American, as a black person in this country, my rights were given to me. I was not born with rights. I came here
as far as
against
the
my
United
will.
States government is concerned, we gave you your rights.
So
your
exactly.
rights are not inalienable
as part
mine
of
are.
This perspective that I'm coming from, I'm saying if somebody can give you something, they can take it away. And to prevent that from happening, because we know the nature of humanity and we know how people do.
Yep.
In order to combat evil, you can't turn the other cheek in reality.
No.
Yes, we can do that in policy and in ideal, but you cannot do that. There are people out here who are willing to take you out, and that's who these people are who are doing this in these schools. But that does not mean that everybody should now be taken, like we take away the defense mechanism for everyone, because these people who, let's be real, they usually come from the dominant society. Yep. They're the ones taking out these motherfucking these shootings. It's not man. It's happened before, but it's not
shooting that was performed by an African
Monica asked me, like, when's the last time a black kid shot up at the school?
Other than Virginia Tech.
Yeah, other than, you know, but I'm saying
the kid
it
at
happens.
SPU, that was an Asian kid.
You know, there's certain things that happen. There's a couple times, but the majority, you know, so like. You're gonna, so as that culture decides that they don't need guns anymore, but what about the other subcultures that are still being affected adversely by the dominant society? What do we do when you decide to persecute us? Yes, the world is perfect for some of you, a lot of you. In your mind it is, but for some of us it's not. And I walk around with a certain amount of apprehension. I'm not going to call it fear, but it comes from fear of what could be done to me based on me just being. So if I don't have the ability to protect myself against people who have the ability and means to do those things, then you're putting me out in a fucked up position. And I understand we don't need to have guns around kids and all this, but like as Mike said, man, there are responsible people, and yes, we need to make it harder for people to obtain these things and to prove that they are responsible. But that shouldn't be more harder than a fucking background check.
And background checks that actually work.
Like a real background.
You know the loophole in the background
federal
check system,
background.
right? So if I went to go to Cabela's right now to buy a gun, I would have to fill out a form.
Yeah.
The background check form. It's a 72-hour waiting period. If they don't hear back in those 72 hours, regardless of whether I'm on the fucking federal no-fly list, whether I'm from Al-Qaeda, whatever, they're going to give me the gun.
Yeah.
Because it didn't come back in time.
Yeah.
So then 3 months later, when the fucking form finally comes back and they find out that I'm fucking Albik bin Bahar from fucking Iraq and I'm here to fuck shit up.
Yeah.
Now they gotta come find me. They gotta come find the gun. They gotta come do all this. It has to be better than that. Has to be.
But see, and the thing is, like, we also gotta look at, like, man, it's gotta be personal. For everything, gotta be case by case. Like, just because it's. You know, we got to look at, like, man, a William Myers who has performed, like, these people who do these acts, you can't necessarily predict them. I think our problem is we try to legislate crazy. I don't know where I heard that. You can't
legislate crazy.
But you can't do it.
No,
We've tried. No. We handicap the entire group of us as human beings off of the limitations of a few. And yes, there's going to always be accidents. There's going to be tragedies, and I hope it don't happen to you, but it probably has, and I hope it don't happen to me, and it probably will. But, like, we can't avoid those things because the reality is there are multiple types of people out in this world, and not everyone's going to be on one accord. No matter if you take guns away, somebody's going to do something else. People have been destroying things before guns. So it doesn't matter that I understand, oh yeah, this is a firearm, but like we were talking about cars. Anything. We give some of the most irresponsible people a license because they passed the test. Mm-hmm. But they go out there on the road and endanger us every day. Accidents happen every day because of people doing stupid shit, putting makeup on or on the phone or eating or like doing something completely outside of what they should be doing right then. But we don't look to take away cars.
No.
And that happens far more than almost all of the shit.
No, we look to make cars better and more safe. Why can't we do the same thing with guns?
We can put extra... Man, there's all kind of things we can do to make this better.
You know the most fucked up part?
We just have a fucked up system.
The most fucked up part about guns is that it's cyclical in very many ways. Mm-hmm. Cyclical in very many ways. We go from guns are killing too many children... And then a cop kills somebody, so we go back to that for a while, and then it's cops.
Yeah.
And then another school shooting happens, so we go back to that. And a cop kills another guy, so we go back to that.
Yeah.
And it just goes back and forth between fucked up and fucked up.
Yeah.
Now I feel like there's ways that we can make both ends better. The school one, that's harder. That's more tough to me. That is, again, like you said, legislating crazy. You have to figure out how to keep guns out of the hands of people who should not have them. And can we get something fucking straight here real quick?
Yeah.
There's a big difference between keeping a gun out of the hand of a fucking criminal and keeping the gun out of a hand of somebody who's mentally ill. Can we not just lump those together?
Yes, I'm saying.
I had somebody say today, well, criminals are just going to find a way to get guns. How would that have stopped the shooting in Florida? He wasn't a fucking criminal until he murdered those people.
Yeah.
He was mentally ill before he murdered those people. When the fucking clip was empty, that's when he was a criminal. Yeah. Before that, he was mentally ill. So I don't give a fuck about keeping guns out of the hands of criminals. Criminals gone criminal.
A criminal is gonna criminal.
It is what it is. I'm not worried about that.
Yeah, and a criminal is probably not gonna be in a school.
Let's bring up Chicago. The ultimate white man cop-out.
Yeah.
The be-all, end-all to any gun conversation. Well, look what's happening in Chicago.
People drop guns off in Chicago.
Yeah, it's because they can go to fucking Indiana, which is right next door. It's like if they didn't have guns here, they could go to fucking Portland and buy one. We'd still have a goddamn gun problem.
It's real.
Whew! It makes me mad.
It's real.
It makes me mad. It makes me so fucking furious. It's just, it's the dumbest fucking thing. And speaking of dumb shit, I had a friend who just sent me something. He says, I don't know, I love him, but I'm gonna call it out right now. He says, people in the United States have had guns in their homes for over 200 years. Mass shootings have only been a problem for the last 30 years. If you look, there's a huge correlation between the rise of gun shootings and the discipline of your children. Part of that I'm going to agree with.
Wait a minute. Nah, I can't even give any of it light, and I'm going to tell you why. It's not true that the rise of shootings has been 30 years.
5,000 years ago.
Can we just look at the history of black people in this country, and you're going to tell me there's not been mass killings except for 30 years? It's just translated into your world. And now you understand. Now people like you are dying all the time, and you're understand. You're confused. But I've been seeing it. My parents been seeing it. Their parents been seeing it. We've been seeing mass killings that don't get put on news. Motherfucking jail is a mass killing. So don't ever come with that shit. And the undiscipline of the kids. Well, then how did they? What do you mean?
That happen?
How do you put all the responsibility of the world's responsible for that on a kid who got nothing but information from the preceding generation?
What else I would say to that is, trust me. If you go to Egypt, right?
But we like talking to you.
We love it. We love you guys. You don't pay nothing, so we, whatever. But you go to the pyramids, right? Howard Carter, 19, wherever the fuck he was over there, right? He goes in and they're looking at all the fucking the hieroglyphics on the walls. One of the things that they found out is said, kids today just don't listen. They've been saying that shit for 5,000 fucking years.
I'm saying
kids today just don't listen. Kids today just are unteachable. Fuck that. Fuck that. I'm sorry, but fuck that. It doesn't have anything to do with AR-15s, right? Being I can just go fucking buy one today, basically. Has nothing to do with that, right?
Yeah,
nothing to do with that. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
People want to take both sides of the argument and justify it by... People want things to stay the same. That's ultimately what they want.
When people hear gun control, they think they're going to take my gun. No, that's not what it's about.
Yeah.
We don't want your guns. We want your crazy fucking nephew's guns.
We want your
guns are fine.
Yes.
Let's get them out. Let's carry them on the street. I'm fine. I'm okay with whatever you want to do with your guns as a responsible gun owner. All right?
Yeah.
But your little fucking nephew Dylan down in Alabama that wants to go shoot up a fucking church, we're going to take his guns. Every one of them. We're going to take his shots. We're taking his water balloons. We're taking everything.
I'm almost even as willing as far to go, to say, in those checks of backgrounds, we can look at the patterns of your fucking social gatherings, your social dealings. Now, I know that can become a slippery slope, but at the same time, we got to go to a point to where people...
We have to slide down the slippery slope.
We have to go there. Because if you're on the fucking internet with Confederate flags and cutting off animals' heads and doing this...
guns.
You don't get a gun. You don't get it. You
guns.
can be the smartest person in school. You can get A's. You might not be crazy, but if you do these things, I'm sorry.
Guns.
I'm sorry.
It is
if
what
you
it
make
is.
Posts that intimate that you would kill this and do that, then why would I give you this?
Right.
I don't care.
I'm not allowed to produce nuclear material in my own home, right?
Exactly. It doesn't matter how responsible
I'm not going to bomb anybody. It's just for me.
Yeah,
it's only to hunt deer with. I mean, but that sounds crazy, right?
It's only to hunt deer with.
It's only for deer. You know? I mean, come the fuck on.
Man, dog, like, man, that's... it's so ridiculous. Like, I get the emotional side of the country where you just want to make things safe for everybody, but like, oh my God, have you seen the Chris Rock stand-up? The new
dude,
one?
Have you seen... I was going to say that earlier. We said, in my home, everything that is white is sharp, heavy, or hot. Just to prepare my kids.
You have a black boy, when he wakes up, you need to punch him in the face. And I'm just like, look. But what he was saying about the bullying, though, like, I was talking to Monica about, because we watched it last night, we were talking this morning all about all those issues, and it's just like, look, though, like, I don't advocate for somebody to terrorize another human being. No. But at the same time, nobody advocates for terrorists to terrorize a country. No one advocates for a dictator to dictate his will on people. No one advocates for things that happen all day. It happens.
Good people stand
so
aside.
How do you learn to engage that if you've never even dealt with a childhood bully? If you've never even been able to stand your ground, or you've never even dealt with the adversity in that way. If your only adversity's been on a fucking math problem, then you have an issue. Because that math problem can only be gotten to if you deal with the people who want you to do the fucking problem.
You know, one of the terms that I really hate is the pussification of America.
I hate Michael Rappaport.
I hate that.
That's him. I hate that nigga. I want that to be known.
But
I'm sorry, guys.
No, it's okay. It's good. But
he's skinny for genication.
There might be
y'all niggas.
20% a little bit of truth to that.
Always some truth.
This participation trophy culture that we live in. Mm-hmm. This pat on the back for fifth place culture that we live in.
Yeah, I get it.
I don't think that's the problem. But
it just aids.
But you emasculate young men. Let's get it real. Women don't do this. Women don't do this.
No.
So we emasculate young men by telling them that winning and being successful is not important. That you're important just for being.
Yeah. Yep.
And then we put them in a society where they have instant access to anything they want at a moment's notice.
Yeah.
Drugs, alcohol, pornography, guns, fireworks, anything. At a moment's notice.
At a moment's notice.
At a moment's notice. When I was 17, I was standing there with a hard dick in my hand waiting for buffering. And these guys can go buy anything they want today.
Right now.
Not even gotta wait for 2 days for Amazon. They can go to the fucking Amazon store.
Man, they can go anywhere. And they can take an Uber to get there if they don't have a car. I didn't have that. Car. They don't have to take a bus and then walk 5 blocks across the way, and then they don't have to wait. They got So we put those kind of people in there.
They don't know the struggle.
And who did that to them? That's what I keep asking. These kids didn't do this to themselves. Our parents did it to us. Because their parents were they were too hard on the other side.
They were too hard.
They were too hard on the other side.
It's just like in football, right? Seahawks. Went from a guy like Dennis Erickson, who was a total player's coach. No, it didn't work. Can't have that. So we got to go to Mike Holmgren, who's a total fucking disciplinarian.
Yep.
That didn't really work, so I don't count Jim Mora.
Yeah.
So we went from Mike Holmgren to Pete Carroll, who's a rah, woo, woo, woo guy. Mm-hmm. When that fails, we'll go back to a fucking hard ass.
Yep.
It's the same thing like that.
Yep.
Same thing like that.
Yep.
Children in the 40s and 50s were raised a little bit too rough.
Yeah.
So children in the 60s and 70s got it easy. Children in the 80s and 90s had a little bit too rough. so these late 90s, 2000s kids get a little bit easier.
Yep.
It's generational.
It's what it is.
It's generational. Back in my day, we used to walk 7 miles in the snow. We don't have those stories.
No.
Back in my day, the school bus was 25 minutes late one time.
Back in my day, there was a 28.8 modem.
Yeah, I mean...
Back in my day, we didn't have a cell phone. Stories. We don't have those. We still lived in a technologically advanced world that far superseded what any of them people, our parents' generation and beyond, did as far as what we can do and access right now. But see, what you said in the beginning, we take these dudes that have been emasculated and we give them all the power without any kind of
access and firearms.
And then you give them the world, though.
I'll go emasculate myself.
So what does he think?
I'll go be a winner. I'll go make the news. Watch.
That's it. Because anybody that person has ever seen be respected was somebody who was seen on the fucking news. And it doesn't matter what they do. They just know them people get talked about and they just want that kind of love. And it's not their fault. But it is a part of... Like, I'm not going to lump all people into that because there's people like you and me who didn't get in that.
No.
And we're two different people.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't work for... Everybody doesn't just get caught up. Some people just... They can't get out of it and then they get caught up in these moments and they do fuck shit. But that's the thing. You have to be able to catch that. And I feel like all of us are able to identify issues like that. Like, within people. Like, you see... I don't know. You can't, because it comes down to legislating crazy. And you don't know who's crazy until they're crazy.
It's like when you were in elementary school and the bad kid wouldn't quit being bad, so everybody had to put their head down.
Yeah.
The same fucking thing in America.
And then the conundrum with it is, usually the bad kid turns out later in life and it's the motherfucker who's dope.
CEO,
and then some of them good
comedian.
kids are drug addicts and fucked up and a lot of, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we can't just say, oh, well, because you're bad, then you're going to do this. We can't do that.
No.
So we can't legislate in these ways. We can't say that all people like this can't, but we can watch your social patterns. We do live on the internet.
We profile a little bit.
They do it to me. Y'all can get profiled, and look, if you showing a pattern of being anti to the point of being violent, you can be anti with your ideals and stuff, because we've seen a lot of people who've done the great literary pieces and creative works throughout time be anti the establishment they lived in. Some of them died and some of them didn't.
Sometimes you can tell. I'm not saying that every book can be written by its cover, but if I'm flying back from Jerusalem and a sweaty Palestinian gets on the plane with a briefcase with wires hanging out of it, I'm gonna double take.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna double take.
If he has
situations where you can profile. I mean, there's certain times where you can say, "That don't look right."
Yeah, I'm saying, bro. Like, if I'm getting in my car at 1:36 a.m. in a fucking back street, and I see a black dude with his pants hanging off his ass, and he's walking towards me in a slow manner and a shot, and I can't see, I'm locking my shit.
He ain't selling Girl Scout cookies.
I'm not. You have to profile now. Chances are, in both situations, shit might not be shit. He just might be a sloppy ass Palestinian dude who had a fucking bunch of wires in his shit, and he just looks crazy.
I was helping my son.
And this black dude might just have been drunk, coming from the bar, stumbling down the fucking thing. But we're all safe.
I'm gonna judge. I'm gonna keep
myself and that doesn't also mean that you can't. Now, it's just there's situations you're gonna check. Look, we live in a world of stereotypes, and we can't help what we were born into, right? No. We don't want to perpetuate them, but you also can't be the fool who didn't listen. You know, everybody's saying all these things. You can't treat people away, but you can always defend yourself. And that's how I feel. Like, you don't always have to be on the defensive. You don't have to treat nobody no way, but you can always...
Are we going? Okay, I was just making sure.
Yeah. We can always defend ourselves.
Well, yeah, and... I think that people just take things too fucking seriously sometimes. Like,
well, I'm guilty of that.
And I am too. Like, I'm swear to God, at least once every 3 days, I have to have a heart-to-heart with a best friend. I didn't mean it. I know you didn't mean it that way. It's fine. We're friends. I know you weren't trying to say that. And I know it's all me. I know it's all my emotional punk ass just getting just lit, having conversations in my head that ain't even happened yet and never will.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
It's about that's what happens.
I think that you can't let that be the decider. You can't let your emotional stability or instability let you decide what is right and wrong for other people to do. At a certain point, you have to understand.
Wait a minute. You got to say that again. You can't let your emotional stability
or instability
determine how other people feel.
Should act. Like
that's crazy.
and we've had this conversation before. Yeah. I am comfortable in the fact, and I can honestly admit, I'm kind of a hater.
Yeah,
yes. I'm a little bit of a hater. So I legitimately have to, like, if somebody gives me good news,
I gotta reel it back.
Be like,
I'm not responding immediately. I'll tell you that.
I have to think. Congratulations, bro! I'm so happy for you. And the first part of me is like, well, how come I ain't got it?
Okay,
But you have to come to the grips with the fact that
they
you get what you put yourself in the opportunity and the position to get.
And that
opportunities come to those for people who look for them.
Mm-hmm.
Preparation, and also it's about what you measure yourself and your success and your abilities on too.
Mm-hmm. And then good you news can't use somebody, that to judge someone else.
No, you cannot judge your success off of somebody else's success. Yeah. Otherwise, we are all going to be unsuccessful compared to Michael Jordan. We're all going to be unsuccessful compared to Leonardo da Vinci.
Yep.
You can't do that.
And that's how I feel like a lot of America lives.
It's a trap.
There's a preconceived notion that since Leonardo da Vinci lived 300 years ago and painted, or 700 years ago and painted this thing, I can never be as great as that because it's in a book. And we all live like that. I could never be as mentally, have the mental acumen of a Bill Gates because I will never have that billion. But it's like, wait a minute, you don't have to be that to be that.
No.
Those are not mutually exclusive.
No.
It's not that way. But America and the world at large, it's not just us. We just are the prize fighters of the shit. But we just drive a certain mentality of your worth is only tied into what you do. When our soul says opposite.
It's that alpha mentality.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get into it.
Yeah.
We're going there. It's that alpha male mentality that America drives into us. That you're either alpha or you're beta.
Yeah.
You're either a winner or you're a loser. You're a leader or a follower.
Yep.
And I have never felt comfortable with that.
If you ain't first, you're last.
And I've never felt comfortable with that because I've never felt that I was either. Yeah. Like, I know I have the ability to lead and I have the ability to create a crowd and to control people.
Yeah.
And I don't mean like control people in like a bad way.
No, it's just manipulating the energy in the room.
Exactly right. I have the ability to manipulate the energy in a room.
Yeah.
I don't consider myself an alpha male at all. Like, not at all. I ain't strong. I ain't fast. I mean, like, if a woman is looking for protection, I ain't the one. Like, I ain't the one. It's like that old Martin Lawrence joke. If Mike Tyson came up to your girl and punched her, what would you do? My first question, people are like, well, what did she do?
Yeah. What happened?
Why you hit her like that, Mike? What did she do? I'm that guy.
Exactly.
I'm not ever going to be able to fight us out of a bad situation, but I might be able to talk us out of a bad situation.
Yeah. Well, and I'm like that too. Like, but in the same token, where it's like I don't see myself as an alpha in that I have to prove myself in every room or take that shine.
No.
But I do feel as though, if the problem is brought or there is a challenge is brought to my behalf, I'm gonna take that and excel because I have the same, if not greater, powers than the other person who thinks they are an alpha. Yeah. And I'm certainly not putting myself in a beta category because a beta, and no man does. Let's be real. No man will ever willingly say I'm a beta male. But we can actually see what a beta is, though. You don't even have to. It doesn't matter what you say. A beta male is definitely off the patterns of your life, bro. If you ain't never questioned somebody at your job, if you ain't never broke the company line, if you've always given a fuck, then you're a beta male.
So my question would be, and I'm gonna let you take it because you taught me about it. If I'm not an alpha and I'm not a beta, what does that make us? does that make us? Explain it to me a little bit.
In that hierarchy, what I grew to understand was that there was like a
didn't mean to put you on the spot.
It's like it's called Sigma male, right? In that aspect. Now, actually, instead of just the alpha beta dynamic, there's supposedly like 6 to 8 different types of sapiosexual.
This is the way that I look at it to kind of explain a Sigma male, right? Yep. So Mufasa, he's the Sigma, or he's the alpha male, right? Mufasa, leader of the pack, leader of the pride. Yeah. He's the alpha male. Scar, sitting back, laying back, smart as fuck, has the ability to lead but doesn't, right? Mm-hmm. He's the Sigma male. Now, granted, that makes it sound villainous and not good. You know what I'm saying? But that's kind of how I look at it. Like, born with the same abilities, born with the same stuff, but doesn't execute it in the same way that an alpha male does.
Yeah, it's like, it's definitely, you're a person that's of even keel without the need of the shine. Mm-hmm. The shine is basically the separation from being an alpha. So where an alpha guy is going to definitely always show you that he's the apex. He's going to try to be in the best physical condition that he can be in. He's going to try to have, or whatever he considers himself to be the strongest suited. So if he's going to be a smart guy, he's going to be extra smart with that shit.
So a Sigma is the guy in the dick measuring contest with the 16-incher just laying back, watching the alphas stretch their shit out, trying to get it.
Basically.
Yeah, that's what
basically.
It is. Yeah.
Or just the guy who you got the same 8 that they got, but you chilling because it doesn't matter. Because you know.
But I know even if I had 6,
everybody at the party is pulling bad bitches, but you walked in with one that they didn't have no idea about. Mm-hmm. Like, it's like I don't need you to become the alpha. I don't need to take over and manipulate you in the situation to show alpha ability. I just am. And that's what my understanding
and like when you explained that to me about a year ago, like it really made me understand something about myself. Like, oh, okay, I get it. That's why I'm never gonna be, and I don't even desire to be the president, the whatever. I'm trying to be the chief of staff that sits in with the president and gets him to do what the fuck I want him to do. Mm-hmm. And I've always felt like I've had that ability, and you the same way. And a lot of it with us, it depends on our mood too.
Yep, exactly.
Depends on our mood. If I go into a situation and I'm feeling it, everybody's gonna feel it. Everybody's gonna feel it. It's gonna be like a MGMT concert. This neon, fucking everything popping, right? Mm-hmm. If I'm not feeling it, it's not that I'm gonna bring others down, but you're gonna people are gonna recognize.
You're gonna feel it.
People are gonna feel that I'm not feeling it. So that's why, like, do you know how many times I've been asked, "Well, who pissed in your cornflakes?"
Exactly.
Like, literally,
what's wrong?
If I had a nickel for every time I've been asked that, I would own Kellogg's. Like, I'd own them.
Here it is. I finally found it. I got the archetypes, the way they break it down. They got so it actually there's.
Ooh, yeah. Let's go through these.
Right here. So there's 8 types. So the archetypes it goes in order the way like this. This alpha. Alpha is the supposedly top. I say it's 1A. The self-assured leader of men whose swagger and aloofness makes him very successful with women.
So that's the guy that's your starting quarterback.
Yep.
That's your center fielder. That's your
power forward, small forward, shooting guard.
LeBron. That's your guy who is so good. He knows how good he is, but he can't actually fathom how good
he can't without the outs.
The betas to lead.
Without the out, like an alpha cannot be an alpha without others.
Yes.
Ooh, so that breaks this down.
Ooh, that's a good one.
So this is the next right here. So
that's a good one.
So we go to the next
good one
on the Sigma chart, right? So
alpha needs betas to lead.
It just needs others because we're gonna break down that beta isn't even the one that it should be considered the lowest. Yeah. Actually, beta isn't bad, but here it goes. The next on the archetypes. The next on the pyramid would be Sigma male, which is defined as the lone wolf antithesis of the alpha. Defies placement in the social hierarchy and yet is successful with women. So you're
that's
the
that
same
dude. That's that dude who's like 70 pounds overweight and walks in with the 10. Yeah. Look at this motherfucker. No, dude.
It's
I'm gonna bring up a little story.
I'm the dirty motherfucker, but I don't matter.
I'm gonna bring up a perfect story. I don't know. You know who Ralphie May is, obviously.
Of course.
Everybody, and probably everybody watching this knows who Ralphie May is. Ralphie May, before they got a divorce, his wife, a 10. Ralphie May's ex-wife, legit, when they got married, a 10. And I mean, Ralphie, God bless his heart, rest in peace, five bills.
Yeah.
At least 500
Yeah,
pounds.
he was huge.
Made me look like his,
nephew.
After picture.
Yeah.
He went on Biggest Loser.
You weren't shit. You look
I
like
was
IT.
nothing.
You look like young IT out there compared to Ralphie May.
Exactly. When he was on Last Comic Standing, another comedian, Rich Voss, is like, I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Ralphie's got a 10. I do 150 push-ups every fucking morning. I can't get a 4 to call me back.
And this is what we get. And that breaks us down to the next one, right, which is beta male.
Yep.
And that one is defined as the worker bees of society. Women will tolerate them if they have ample resource. Otherwise, they are discarded. That is the simple... It's the people...
So that makes you think in your head, I know so many
It's
betas.
the hard worker. I'm telling you, it's most motherfuckers.
Yeah, most men.
And it's not a bad thing.
No.
That's what we got to get off of this. Somebody
the
put
world
this in your
needs
mind.
a majority of betas.
Yes.
The world needs 95%
The world does
betas
not function
without
hella beta any betas. And a beta is not lower.
We need people that say, yes, sir.
Okay, and we're going to go even lower. So we're going to show you that beta is not what they consider the lowest. We're going to go down. The next one is a gamma. A gamma are bitter or clueless about women. Often they can't grasp concepts of the mating game.
Yeah.
So basically, this is the guy
who doesn't even understand.
This is the Uber geek. This is the guy who is 23 playing Madden for 15 hours and he's not even trying to pursue anything outside of that because he doesn't believe in his own self because of whatever the society has put forth.
Yeah.
So but it's still not an excuse.
So Gamma's a guy that's not even like... I don't want to say a Gamma's a guy that's not trying, but a Gamma's a guy that doesn't even know to try. If he tried, he might be able to, but he doesn't even know that that's a possibility.
Basically. Yeah. Because then it goes to the
next... He could work himself up to a beta. If he just thought he could
whoever this school shooter is this next one.
Yeah.
Which is an omega male. An omega is the hopeless. Omegas are correlated with violent outbursts like shooting sprees because of their total rejection by women. And you notice all this has to do with women, and I don't like to be super cavemanish with it, but I feel like we are. Drives men. And that's what it is for all of us.
Drives men.
And not the end all be all. We still have ideas and want to build things.
My homosexual brothers and sisters out there, because they still fit into these categories.
Yes, they still do. Because to whoever you want, but it's still a thing that exists because we put it there.
Sex is the driving force of life. It's our be all, our end all, our everything. If you could eat a cheeseburger or fuck right now, most people are going to choose pussy.
Actually, so this is what
I want a cheeseburger bad right now.
This is what a gay person would be called. They would be called a lambda. A lambda are those men who have quite literally no interest in conventional male-female sexual relations. But see, a lambda cannot. It can also be like a polygamist.
Yeah.
Like a person
in conventional,
a player.
And
a serial player, not somebody going through a stage in life. I'm saying those dudes who is 50 who ain't never had one.
George Clooney.
Yeah, that could be that.
That lifetime.
Because there's no...
Wilt Chamberlain. Chamberlain, most famous man in the world for about 30 years, never married. Never had a kid, supposedly.
So I guess there's another one called Delta, which is called it's just the normal guy. Deltas are the great majority of men. But and that goes with the beta kind of, because I think that the great majority of dudes are the worker bees of society. Because that's what you've Delta been raised
and beta. On. I would have to really understand the difference between a beta and a delta.
I think we have to go to the definitions of the words. Maybe we need to give more.
Well, they're just Greek.
I know what but they mean.
They do.
Because when you go down to the etymology of those, that'll really tell us.
Maybe we're not giving enough credit to beta males.
That's what I'm saying. I think that's what this... People think
delta males are really the vanilla...
That's the vanilla. Delta is the vanilla.
Yeah.
Beta male is somebody who is
that strawberry. And then you get up to chocolate, the alpha. I mean, that's the best one.
How do we quantify? So like a delta, if a delta is like the normal, the vanilla dude, a beta guy is like
So it's like mixed nuts, right? You get a thing of mixed nuts. Betas are the peanuts. They're doing all the heavy lifting. It's going to be 60-70% peanuts. They're doing all the work. They're doing all the heavy lifting. Then you get like almonds and walnuts and cashews, and that's your alpha. They're the ones that everybody picks out, and they're the ones they want, and they're the ones that everybody's going to high grade. And at the end of the day, you're left with a big bowl of peanuts.
And then you got the sigma, which is the pecan.
That's like that Brazil nut.
That Brazil nut.
That don't give a fuck. I'm not even a good nut. Nobody even cares.
But everybody's going to eat it.
I'm not even trying to taste good, but I won't be gone.
But I'll get eaten before the peanuts. But I'll get eaten before you.
Before the peanuts.
And so then they have this other last one, which is like kind of
Zeta.
like... Yeah, Zeta, which is like pretty much an anti. It looks like it was added, which refers to as perspective and way of being male that positions itself outside the usual hierarchical model of masculinity based on alpha male, beta male, and omega male lowest.
Zeta seems like an extension of Sigma.
That's what I'm saying. Like, a Zeta person has to be just like a Sigma offshoot because it's basically saying
you're the Sigma lone wolf without the leadership.
Without the foundation. Without a foundation, you're like the literal lone wolf. Yeah. Like you literally don't have a role in society, and yet
you're fine with
it. And you're fine. Yeah, you can do what you do.
You're fine with it.
So that shit is interesting to me because I've always looked at different shit that people talk about or what they reference, and this is all the works of what is it? Freud, I want to say.
Most of it, yeah.
And what it is just like I get it, right? It basically encompasses everybody, but I think some of our mistake is like we miscategorize these things, and people strive to be one thing and they're not. And when you're not working within the role that you would naturally feel, not like these are set, defined things that you have to be, but just within the grips of who you really are. Mm-hmm. Instead of everybody focusing on not being a worker and just being the top guy who doesn't know shit but gets there, like that's what we're all on, and that's what causes this imbalance. That's what causes all this shit to be off. Not just dudes, girls do the same, women do the same shit. It's all crazy. Like we really have to understand like the depths of shit. Because this is all going back to gun control, right? You try to understand who these people are. Everything has to be case by case.
We're trying to know them.
Exactly.
Because you can't. If I was going out and building a basketball team tomorrow to try to beat the Warriors.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it without ever watching a Warriors game to see how they play.
Like
I would want to watch them and say, okay, I need to do X, Y, Z. I need 3 big guys in the middle that are stopping every layup, and they're going to have to hit every 3 all game. Mm-hmm. That's how you beat the Warriors.
That's how you beat them.
That's not always the way it works. But that's kind of
exactly, because they're so dominant. But that's how
a bunch of big motherfuckers in there, and you ain't getting nothing in the middle. You're shooting
or a bunch of 6'8" dudes who can stay with them.
Exactly. So that's the thing. You have to know what you're trying to beat. You have to know what you're going against. You have to know. I don't want to say you know your enemy, because I don't think these mentally ill people are our enemies.
No.
I think if somebody 5 years ago had hugged that fucking kid and said, man, it's going to get so much better. Just do your D&D, do your fucking ROTC, do your weird shit, own your weird shit, and I'm telling you, you'll find people that are alike and will get better.
Yeah.
I think that's the people. In a world where there's so much connection, I'm connected with people that I would... When I was a kid... And I'd see people, like, I'd see one of my parents' friends. And, like, I was a weird kid. I used to think about weird shit, right?
I don't know what the fuck that was.
And when somebody would leave, I'd say, man, like, that could be the last time I ever see them. Like, they don't ever come around. Maybe I'll never see them again. That world is not like that anymore.
Yeah.
Like, if I want to see somebody again, I go on Facebook, I friend them, and I'll see them every day forever.
Basically.
Like, I keep up with so many more people from high school and growing up that I would have never kept with any of these people if I hadn't had Facebook or anything like that. So in a world that we're so connected and we can keep so much information about other people and the way they go about their business at a fingertips notice. Yeah. I mean, at a click.
At a click.
There is still so much disconnection. people that do not feel part of that at all.
Because their whole life is solely within that.
Right.
There's no balance. Your life has to be well-rounded. Like, you can't just be on the net. You can't be just digital. You have to have a step in the world, because once you have to go into the world, it's going to be awkward. And people are going to receive you away. Mentally ill is different, right?
Mentally ill, I mean,
you can't do that.
There are people that are broken. And we've all met people in our life that we can, like, within 2 minutes of interaction, he or she is broken. Like, that's not a normal, like... And that doesn't even necessarily mean that they're going to go shoot up a school. Or they're going to go fucking shoot up a fucking bus station or anything like that. But you just know they're not with it like I'm with it.
They're on a different lane.
They're not on it like I'm on it.
Yeah, they're on a different world.
And it doesn't mean that they're dangerous, but it does mean that they're mentally ill. I would say that every dangerous person is mentally ill.
Yeah, to some extent.
Gotta be fair, right? I mean, nobody does this shit if they're not fucking crazy.
Basically.
I mean, what normal person goes into a school and shoots up 15 kids? Nobody.
I mean, this
is worse than Columbine.
This
is worse than Columbine, and in 2 months, nobody's even going to remember where this was, but we'll know Columbine. Mm-hmm. We'll still remember that shit.
It was the first. So we got a little animated in the first segment, but it's just those kind of issues are real. There's so many issues in this fucking country. We'll never fully get over them, but as long as people continue to think that we're gonna combat shit by taking everything away from everybody or giving everything to everybody as a solution to everything, we're never gonna get anywhere. Like, if it's just crazy to me, But
it's hard to even think. Like, I honestly, the way I approach all of these debates on Facebook, I only ask questions. I don't. When somebody, how do I put this? When somebody says you're infringing on my Second Amendment rights, blah blah blah, I don't argue the fact that we're infringing, because by the letter of those words, maybe we are. My only question is, okay, that's fine. What's your idea then? If you're going to stand behind the great American cop-out, which is the United States Constitution, if you want to shield yourself in that like some motherfucking Harry Potter bullshit Patronus shit, that's fine. And I'm fine with that. Use the tools that are available to you in your toolbox. Yeah, I get it. Sometimes if all you got is a hammer some shit.
Hammer it away, yeah.
But
you got to know when. You got to find tact as your maturity comes in.
There has to be an answer. The answer of do nothing, this is just the way it is, I don't accept that.
Yeah.
I don't accept that as a viable answer as to what we do to keep children safe in school. There was never one day in my education that I felt unsafe going to school.
Never.
The day after Columbine. The day after Columbine, I'm like, man, I hope somebody shoots it up so I can go home early.
Everybody was like that, bro. Like, I
was never afraid.
My freshman year at Renton High School, I feel like we had like 51, some crazy number, like 51 fire drills. That was 2001, 2002 year. That was when 9/11 happened. So there was like bomb threats, people calling in that, pulling fire alarms, and no one was playing with that shit back then. When that 9/11 shit happened, no one was playing with
we all agreed.
So we went
when
home
9/11 happened, we all agreed to go through metal detectors to get fucking touched by fat motherfucking TSA agents that I went to high school with. We all agreed to take our shoes off. We all agreed to not take more than 2 fucking ounces of shampoo with us.
Yep.
But we can't do nothing about 18 young, fucking, beautiful lives getting taken. We can't even have a conversation about it. We can't even have a fucking conversation about what to do to it because we might take a white man's gun.
Yeah, we can't.
We might take one white man's gun.
And the answer is not to take them all the way. The answer is definitely...
The answer is to find out who fucking has them. That's the only thing. We just need to make sure who's got them. That's all. Yeah, we're not trying to take your fucking gun, Jim Bob. It's fine.
Nobody wants
your gun. Hillary's not coming for your gun. She ain't running again. Bernie don't give a fuck about your gun because you already paid your taxes on it. It don't matter.
Trump
it
got
doesn't
guns.
Fucking matter.
No one cares.
Let me see a video of Donald Trump shooting a gun, please. I want to see it. I want to see him break his fucking shoulder because he ain't holding it right. I want to see Donald Trump shoot a gun. That's the man you're going to stand behind on all your bullshit fucking principles. A man who can't even shoot one. But we're going to let him legislate. Gun
Preach.
law.
You got Pastor Reverend Michael Merriman has he's our guest today on the Way It Was podcast.
The shit bothers me because it's a complete fucking double standard. It's a complete double standard. It's either you're infringing on my Second Amendment rights or I don't want to talk about it.
Well, see, what you're learning, what you're seeing is like the art of deflection, right? This is the goal. Now I'm gonna break some shit down right here
that tastes really good, by the way.
Yeah, it's actually really nice. It's a LA sour.
It tastes nice and earthy. Mm-hmm. I like earthy taste to my bud. Earthy.
But basically, like, the game for the elite people is to keep us separate and confused. We got people out here who are just gung ho about ideals that do not suit their needs, and they are just about them based on traditions. And those traditions were born out of falsehoods, out of just things that weren't real in the first place. But these things generationally have passed down. These people will not waver. There's you're learning that there's people who know these things that you are arguing. These things that we both know are the way to go about being a good human being. But there are people who know, look, all I gotta do is keep you arguing. Because I'm gonna keep doing me.
Yeah.
If you keep arguing with your other cohorts down there, arguing about what I should do, that's cool. Because I'm going to just keep doing while y'all is arguing.
It's like after Bill Clinton got caught having Monica Lewinsky suck his dick, all of a sudden 2 weeks later we had to bomb fucking Slobodan Milosevic and all his motherfuckers. That wasn't a deflection, though. That wasn't nothing. Wasn't nothing. We got to go bomb some shit. It ain't got nothing to do about my blowjob.
No.
It's all about deflection.
But people
it's all about spin.
People just want to believe, bro.
Yeah.
And believing, like, if people even knew what the word believe means. Like, the word believe, if you with etymology break it down, it basically means to hold up the lie, to uphold a lie. Because belief is not truth. Belief is not based in truth. Belief is just what you believe. It's just your mind. It's what you've made up. You believe it because someone told you to believe it, and there's no evidence beyond your belief. But why do we hold belief in such high regard when it comes to people?
I'm going to take it back to a song that nobody knows but me and you and like 100 other people. Mm-hmm. Believe in me.
Mm-hmm.
When Jeff's singing that, he's trying to convince. It's like, believe in me. Like, that's not... If I had $10 million in the bank account and I had the good job and you had the rock on your finger and we were driving the 5.0, you wouldn't need to believe.
Exactly.
You know
in me.
But I'm asking you to believe in me.
Yeah.
Believe in me.
Because it's not real
believe
yet.
It's possible.
Because it's not real.
So when you talk about your beliefs, talk to me about facts.
Talk to me about what's real.
Talk to me about truth.
Because your beliefs don't matter. My beliefs don't mean shit.
No.
I'm not saying just you.
No, mine don't matter either.
His beliefs don't mean shit. It's
not
only the facts that matter, because at the end of the day, the facts are just going to be the facts. And what's going to happen is what's going to happen because the facts dictate that.
I believe in the Seattle Mariners. I believe.
I don't even think you need to make another point.
I believe, man. Like
I believe.
I ain't got fuck all to believe in.
I have no.
I have no reason.
I have no scientific or factual proof.
Dude, like
empirical evidence.
We have literally seen a Mariners playoff berth 5 times more than we've seen Jesus in the last 5,000 years. That's not a great percentage.
That's damn. When you put it like that, fuck.
But I believe we'll get there. I believe in the Mariners' playoff chances more than I believe in a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of stuff I've seen more recently than that.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's about faith. Belief and faith are intertwined.
It's the same shit. You're just putting, like, wouldn't it be better to know? Wouldn't it be better to just trust what you know? Like you can believe in whatever, but you know certain things to be true. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, people believe what they want, but you know it to be different. Like, some people believe racist theories, but you know it to be different. That knowledge makes it your life easier to hang through, right? Yeah. Because if you're just solely going off of belief and faith, everything is scary.
Yeah.
Like really look at that. Like, when you're just moving off faith and belief, everything is the devil, bro. And I'm not even trying to attack the Bible. But if you move off of what you know, and you just seek to find information within everything that you encounter, isn't life better? Wouldn't you have a less stressful life because you don't have to foster a belief? You don't have to prove your beliefs are true throughout your life. You just have to go and see what's real and what's not and keep going.
Yeah.
That's what we're stuck in, you know?
I mean, it's
and that's what we're all fucked in. That's what America's built off of, fucking you into dreaming. And then once you dream, now all you got is beliefs and faith. Because you're going for a dream. Like, think about how stupid that is. This is not a dream for me.
George Carlin said it best.
This is what we're doing.
George Carlin said it best. They call it the American dream because you got to be asleep to believe it.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy. It's real.
And that's back when... That's before anybody knew what woke was.
Yeah,
he said that 30 years ago. You have to be asleep to believe it. And now we understand that asleep doesn't even mean what we used to think it meant.
Nah.
You can be wide awake and be asleep.
Yeah.
I honestly feel like I was asleep until about 3 years ago.
Yeah, I feel like 5 years ago I changed.
About 3 years ago, I realized that things just weren't the way I thought they were.
Yep.
And it wasn't even like I had to come to a realization that just because I believed something didn't make it true.
Yep.
Just because the people that I'm around are a certain way doesn't mean that that's the way everybody is.
Yep.
You have to look further than your community, further than your circle, further than your group of friends to realize that there are certain things that are just so, whether I want them or believe them to be so or not.
It is what it is.
You have to go out. You have to travel around. You have to see some shit.
You got to exist, right? Because everybody doesn't have the whole same. There's people out here who believe in things that are adverse to what you live.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how then does a belief... I'm trying to go there with y'all right now. How then does a belief become the basis for anything in your life? How can you believe in anything? You just got to go off of what you know. I was stuck on the last few years so hard. Like, man, I got this dream. And you got to have a plan and make a dream. You got to do this. And you go off of all these fucking cliches, right? And it's just at the end of the day, man, I'm doing it. This is what we're doing.
You have no responsibility in this life but to enjoy it and be Terry Moore.
Just do what I can do.
No other responsibility that any of us have but to be happy and be ourselves.
Be yourself and just try to be.
So whatever happens along the way, it's gravy.
Just be you.
It's gravy. If this takes off tomorrow, awesome.
If it
doesn't take off tomorrow, I'll see you Thursday.
But I'm still a podcaster. I'm still a part of media. I'm still me.
I'm happy with what we do just because I feel better if it's out of my head and into the stratosphere.
That's it.
I just feel better about the things if I can think it and get it out, even if nobody listens. I just feel better vocalizing things.
Look, I've grown up so long just feeling like I thought so differently than so many people, and I just held in opinions for years and just didn't say things the way. And the only outlet I've ever had was a Facebook post because I can articulate it there and you can take it and leave it. But with this, it's just like I just know that there was a time in my life where I could have really used a fucking voice that sounded like me.
Yes.
Or just somebody, just to hear a person and I eventually found those kind of things and it led me to keep doing what the fuck I was doing instead of worrying about shit. But like, that's what I do it for, and as cliche as that is, I literally, it's like, man, if I do this and 4 people hear this shit and they be thinking on some weird shit like me, or they see the world outside of fantasy,
to have your weirdness like fucking to have it confirmed.
Yeah.
To have your weird shit confirmed, like, I am not alone. Like,
that's it. You know what I'm saying?
People like
that's
me.
all you want to
You
know,
what I
right?
mean?
That's
There's
it.
other weird motherfuckers that like soy sauce in their macaroni and cheese. Just
It's about
like
moving
I do.
in knowledge, not belief or faith.
Right?
Right?
And
You
it
once you
doesn't-
know there are people like you, now you know it's you're good.
I used to fight so hard, like growing up. Like I always knew I was different than a lot of people. Like I always knew that I was deeper than most people from a very young age. I mean, I was raised by older people.
Yep.
I didn't have any siblings. My parents were young, but honest answer, like they were there, but they weren't around. Like I got raised by older aunts and uncles, by grandparents, by things like that.
Yeah.
I got raised by a community of older women, basically.
Yeah,
You know
I feel
what
you.
mean?
I feel you.
So I've always known that, like, I'm a little more sensy poo than most guys. I'm a little more. I could put a motherfucking outfit together. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
But like, for years and years,
You repressed that.
I repressed that because I thought that made me less than your average man.
Yeah, and that's not a trait that's supposed
And
to
that's
be
not a trait
something
that I should exhibit because nobody's gonna value that or think that's cool.
Yeah, or somebody thinks that you're a part of the pussification of America because you find that this is a.
I feel like
it's like fuck them.
There's
niggas,
a difference between like I feel like that like
not even like
it
I
makes
just like
me
saying cuss.
it makes me feel fucking far more well-rounded than the average man. Like I feel like there's things that make me that like nobody else could ever have. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
there's nobody. There is nobody that's got quite the experience growing up that I had.
No.
Like there's people that may have better. There's people that may have worse.
But no one has.
But nobody's got quite what I had.
But see, right
up.
there,
like
that's
and,
your base, and you
that's
know
the thing.
that.
And like, I used to keep that down and not be proud of where I came from, and not be proud of how I was raised. No, I was raised fucked up, but good, but fucked up, but good, but fucked up.
Yeah,
good,
just you know how it is.
Like,
everybody knows how it is.
I made mistakes. Like
yeah.
When they were my age, I am now. They had a 12-year-old. If I had a 12-year-old right now. I mean, like, granted, I would be different too.
Of course, but you just can't imagine it.
I couldn't even fathom. That's like trying to fathom how big the universe is. You can't even imagine. You can't even, like, your brain can't even comprehend a number that big. My brain cannot even comprehend having a child that's 12 years old. I know me at 12. I was a dirty, nasty little
I can't comprehend a child that's 1
at all
right now, let alone a double-digit motherfucker
right?
living.
So
that's another nigga living in my house. That ain't no baby. That's another motherfucker living here. That motherfucker need to eat. It's consuming power.
When are you getting a job?
Yeah, what are you doing with your life?
When are you moving out? Now I understand why at 17 my parents got me to go away to college in. I'm like, I am a junior. Like, why are you getting me microwaves and area rugs?
I ate hella food. My mom ate hella food.
Looking back on it
hella
now, like,
food. Right now, if I ate as much as I ate, then I'd be like, man, Monica would have an issue with me.
Dude, I remember days where, like, I mean, I grew up a fat kid, and I'm working on it now, but I still have fat kid tendencies, so I get it now. But there would be days where, as a kid, I would, like, every snack in the house would be gone. Like, bag of chips gone, all the yogurt gone, all the candy gone, everything gone. So they come home and be like, what the fuck? And like,
I was hungry. And what can you do to a kid? You can't discipline a kid for eating.
You know, but I used to think, getting back to what I was saying, I used to think that those experiences made me less than, and I used to try to keep myself grounded and try to be like the other people I was around and not... I didn't know that there were positives and things that I could capitalize on from my upbringing.
Yeah.
And then, as I got older, I started to realize that there are things from my upbringing that are huge bonuses now that none of my friends have. And I'm not saying that in a bad way or anything, but, like, I know a fucking hustle when I see one. Yeah. Because I know them all.
Yeah.
You know, like, I know a hustle when I see one.
Yeah.
I know... Perfect example. Me and my best friend walking away from the casino to our cars. And there's 4 guys that are, like, tailing us 30 feet behind us. And they're slowly creeping closer and closer and closer. And I'm like, hey, just eyes open. Keep your eyes out.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I didn't even notice that. I'm like, you're lucky you're with me because I did notice that.
Yeah.
And then they didn't do anything, and it is what it is. But it's like, I know to be conscious of things like that.
Yeah, because it's
somebody's
real.
coming up to take my bag.
Yeah, it's like it can happen. It's not a.
So like it is what it is.
Yeah.
So like there's certain parts of my upbringing, and there's certain parts about what make me who I am that nobody else can have and nobody else will ever have.
Yeah.
And when you learn, and everybody has that. Everybody listening and watching this has that. Everybody has something about them that makes them who they are and makes you who you are.
Yep.
And once you learn to capitalize on what makes you who you are and to figure out how to accentuate those things that make you who you are, it is so much easier going through life.
Yep.
So much easier going through life. Because now pretty much, I would say that all of my friends know that I work a lot.
Yeah.
I'm pretty smooth as far as talking goes. And I kind of have that little hustler mentality. A little bit, you know what I mean? This is the way it is, you know what I'm saying? Like,
it's what it is.
We're getting into something, call me.
It's the truth. I feel you. I'm in. I'm in.
So, those are things that I didn't ever used to take any pride in because I didn't know that those were things that you take pride in. And now I understand that there are people that could work hard for their entire lives and never be able to speak the way I can. Or you can, or other people that we know can.
There's people out here who are way more educated and decorated, but if they lost that, they would die.
Right. So perfect example, and I'll tell you who I'm talking about after the show, and you might even figure out who it is when I'm talking about it. But like, you can either tell a joke or you can't, right? And you can be repeating a joke. You can be repeating a Chris Rock joke or anybody joke. And there's a timing to it, and there's a way to tell a joke, and you have to be able to work through it in a certain way. Like I could imitate any stand-up comedian you wanted to hear right now. I could tell one of their jokes, hook, line, and sinker, and sound just like them. Yeah, maybe not sound just like them, but I could
deliver it in the same manner. Yeah.
I could tell a George Carlin joke like George Carlin. I could tell a Richard Pryor joke like Richard Pryor. I could tell a Ralphie May joke like Ralphie May because I understand.
You're looking at the craft.
That world. Like, I get there's more to it than just the words.
There's a craft. Yeah.
So every time this kid would tell a joke, and he'd be repeating a joke, and he would just, he couldn't quite just ever really tell it, and just couldn't ever quite do it. And every time I would listen to him, I was like, just let me do it. just let me do this right now. Man. So you can work, and you can love, and you can do as much as you want on a certain thing, but if you ain't got it, you ain't got it, and you're never going to have it. You can love it, and I love basketball. I'm never going to be as good as most people I play with in shooting in a lot of different areas. So I decided to get good at the things I'm good at. I low post, blocks, rebound. I get low.
Do that.
I figured out when I was about 14, 15 that my arms were fucking monstrous and I could get block shots and rebounds. So I went in.
Yeah, that's it. Just do
you got to figure out what you need to do. And that's so important, is to accentuate what makes you you. And just own that shit. Yeah. You just have to do it. You just have to do it. So now the fact that I can put together an outfit, and I got that kind of skill and that, just that shit I know about that kind of world. Yeah. When my friends are going out on dates, they text me.
Yep.
Which tie?
Hey, which
they text me, what shirt should I buy? They text me, how do you like these shoes? So I used to think it makes you like a pussy faggot, whatever. And now it's like, no, that's cool. Like I know how to fucking dress. Like I can't afford to dress real good right now.
That cliche,
but if I was a millionaire, dude, I would be I would just be fucking laced out every day.
Why not?
Every day. I would look like fucking Denzel Washington, American Gangster, every day. Every day.
That's because that's what you found that you know about yourself, is to know you're not working off of a dream that you have of who you should be. You're not working off of what you think you could be any longer. You know what I'm saying? It's not, because you can strive to have a goal to accomplish a thing, but you should never embody the goal.
Right.
Because I feel like that's when you lose yourself and you lose everything that makes you what your existence was supposed to be. And it goes back to just knowing versus belief and faith. Like, you need to know the things that you go through, the things that you realize about yourself. When you know those things, you lose the fucking doubt about them. Like, if you know what it is, you know what you don't like, you know what you like, you know what you can do, you know what you can't do. There's always a way to build off of what you know. But if you just have a belief that you can do some shit and you don't ever work towards getting better at doing it, then you're not going to do it.
I believe I can do stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
I believe that. And this is... And ever since we started podcasting 4 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever it is at this point,
it's a minute.
That's always been like... I've always thought, like, okay, that's the first step.
Yeah.
Is getting used to talking and spitting and just
going
and doing and doing and doing. And now I feel like that's a skill. Like, that we as people have built. Yeah. Like, to be able to hold up airtime, to be able to talk and keep it going and keep it going and keep it going and keep it going. There were times in the Mile My Cast where, like, I'd look down and it's like, fuck, I've been talking for 5 minutes. I should probably give these guys a shot. I should probably let these guys talk for a minute.
That shit was
but
hard,
now, there is a huge majority of people that if you ask them to put 5 minutes down, just of spit, just talking, they couldn't do it. They couldn't keep it together for 5 minutes.
What?
That's why, like, when you see a guy like Colin Cowherd,
man,
who he's got whatever her name is in the background.
Yeah, Christine.
Lady. But she's not there to fill airtime. She's there to assistant pimp.
Yeah, basically. That's what it is.
She's just there to high five.
Yeah, exactly. Throw a oop for me so I can go off on this tangent.
Yeah. Or to give the news, or to give the traffic. Yeah. You know, she's the weather girl.
That's just the role. That's the role on that show.
I'm sure Christine Leahy is better than that.
Oh yeah, we're not even talking about no sexist shit.
But that's her role is just to.
She's Derek Fisher on this team.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
That's all it is. She's not even Derek Fisher. She's like fucking Steve Blake.
Yeah, she's Shandon Anderson.
Right? You know? Yeah, but. That's what makes him so impressive to me, is that...
He just holds the whole time.
He just holds court.
With
for 3 hours.
Points. Like, it'd be
with
cold,
solid,
man.
strong points. Like, can you imagine... I mean, granted, to him, it's probably not a big deal. And could you imagine right now on your first day, say you got hired by WXBW, Renton Live, and you were going to do the morning show from 6 to 10, and they were giving you your shot. They heard this podcast.
Yep.
And it's, you know what? I like this...
Yep.
Say it's even me and you. I like these guys' tempo.
Yep.
I like them. Let's give them a shot. Let's give them a morning show. Could you imagine the drive into work?
Oh, it'd be ridiculous.
Knowing that, like, me and you have to keep up 3 hours of morning show today and tomorrow and tomorrow
and forever in
tomorrow
perpetuity,
and 5 days a week forever.
There's no day off. Like, you do get there, but it's
different. You get
different.
good at it eventually.
Yeah.
But, like... You would really start to respect these guys that can just
that's why I listen to it, because I already respect it. Like, I'm like, damn, you
Skip
really have
and Shannon, they're good, but that's a different
it's a dynamic
game.
Yeah, that's an hour.
Somebody to bounce back and forth.
The one-off is different.
They can choose to play different roles.
The solo role is hard.
But that solo gig, I mean, to bring it to baseball, Vin Scully.
Yeah.
To be able to sit back there and call a baseball game by yourself.
Yeah, that's great. When you really think about this shit, like,
crazy.
You're not bouncing off of nobody. You just gotta...
And people love it.
Yeah, they get it. Like, yeah, it's like, bro, and then it just is, man, this is crazy. Like, I haven't seen a game like this since back when I was about there. I could see how they do it though. Like, but there's a skill to it. Like, you certainly have to be engaging too. You can't
get certain crutches. You know, I mean, you learn how to do things, and you learn how to create, and you learn how to fill time, and you learn how to. I mean, half the time I swear to God, half the time I open my mouth, it's just freestyle. Like, I don't know what's coming out of there necessarily. I'll
think about two sentences before I get there, so I can be like, okay, I'm formulating this.
But I have enough.
Nah, fuck that.
Like, there's times where I'll know it's my turn to talk, so I just start talking.
Yeah, go,
and we'll see where it goes. Like, I don't really know what I'm fitting to say.
Just go.
We're gonna go somewhere with it.
That's how I am.
But that's belief. That's belief.
But
and it's proof too, because now we have proof.
That's where I want to go.
We have proof of what we do.
We're gonna keep going back to this point. It ain't belief. This is fact. Yeah. We've done this for so many times over different platforms. This is not belief.
No.
I know that I can talk here for 2 minutes straight, right quick in this podcast right now about nothing. And when I stop to go over here and look, you're gonna pick that shit right back up. I know. It's not belief no more.
This is our innate talent.
That's what it is. So you can't. It's not about believing. Like, I just think that's the term that's tripping us up. Believe, dream, faith. try. All these things are like, there's just like self-limiting things where it's like, man, literally, it's just doing, like, we're doing this. Like, look at that. Look, we're doing this.
Yeah,
this is what it
and it's
look
easy.
At it. We're doing it.
And at a certain point, you just have to decide to
and
do it.
Because then
you just have to jump. That's that big Steve Harvey video that went on a few times. Sometimes you just got to jump.
You know?
And that is what it is. Sometimes you just have to take that leap. You just have to decide that today we're filming a YouTube video and we're going to do it.
We're just going to do it.
And we're going to quit thinking about doing it and talking about doing it.
Yeah. And believing we can do it.
And believing we can do it.
And having faith that we will do it one day. We're just going to do it.
It's just like me losing weight. I've been talking and believing I could lose weight since I was 7.
Yeah.
And then one day I just decided to go prove that I could do it.
Yeah.
And
you did it, and you're living in the know.
It's the same thing as any other kind of skill or talent or goal or anything like that. You could talk about it forever. But until you fucking put your boots on, until you actually close the front door, lock it, and walk down the fucking stairs and go do your thing,
it ain't shit.
It ain't nothing, and nobody cares.
Nobody's ever gonna care.
Nobody gives a fuck even. That's the thing. People get tired of hearing shit too.
They don't even want to see your shit because it's like, well, why are you even? No. I don't care.
Nah.
Fuck it.
My goal is to succeed so much that people hate.
Oh yeah, exactly. Exactly. That people are tired of seeing it.
Like, I need some haters.
People just get tired of it.
You're gonna see. They don't want me to win.